Over the last few weeks, I've been taking a lot of phone calls from customers on how to print, laminate and cut floor graphics. So today we're going to run through the procedure on how to do just that. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to check that the print is going to line up with your cut. So we're going to do a crop cut adjustment on the printer itself. So for this we have our material loaded, and then on the menu what we do is we click menu, we scroll down to the cutting menu. In there we see print cut adjust, and below that we have crop cut adjust. If we go in there and do a test print, the printer will print off a test print, and then we can do our adjustment of the cut into that test print. So the printer is now reading the crop mark and it's just cut around it. So what we want to do then is we want to check that the cut is exactly where it should be. So it should cut around the edge of this black box. So you can see from the cut there that we have a slight bit of black on the left and we have a slight bit of black on the bottom. So to adjust that, what we can do is in the menu under test print, we go to setting, we go into the setting, and then you have your feed and scan settings. So we want the cut to be lower, so we adjust with our down arrow, and we want the cut to be more to the left, so we use our left arrow. So what we're going to do is go down 0.5 millimeters using the down arrow, and then we want to go to the left, we'll go 0.5 millimeters and press enter. So when that's entered into it, then we can just hit the menu button to bring us back out, hit the up button and do a test print again. So we'll read the black box out once again. So it just wants to go another little bit to the left, and we've gone too low, so we can go back up just a touch. Go down to our setting in there, and we want to go more to the left. We'll go 0.1 and we'll go back up to 0.3. Hit enter. The menu button to bring it back into the setting. We can go back up to our test print and hit enter again. Read the black box out again, and that seems to be just perfect. We have just black showing slightly around each edge. So we know now that our print is going to line up exactly with our cut. So now that we have our crop cut adjusted, we're ready to set up for the print. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to advance the material out. It's going to help with our laminating, and then when we do a test cut with our blade, we'll have enough material at the front of the job to get our depths right. So that's it. I've brought the material out. It's just about here. Hit function. Base point comes up. Hit enter. And that's it. That's our material set to print from there. So now we can go to VersaWorks and get the job sent to the printer. So first of all, we go to File, Add Job. We're going to work in QB today. We select our floor graphic. We double click to get into our settings. And the first thing we do is get media width. So that tells us what width our media is. We're going to select the amount of copies we want, which is 5. We're going to pick generic vinyl 2 in standard mode. Sign and display, that's fine. Then we're going to put our marks on it. So crop marks for print and cut alignment. And then down to our quick controls, and we select print only. So click OK on that and hit print. So after the print is finished, we're just going to advance it forward just a little bit. and we'll do a sheet cut. And then we're ready to go for the laminator. So now I'm going to laminate the graphic with an Origard 250 floor laminate. Just line it up. I'm going to make sure that I have enough here on the front. This is my leading edge. So this is the front of the graphic. I want to make sure that I have enough laminate on the front here so I can do my pressure tests with the blade to make sure that it's going to cut correctly. So what we have here now is our blade holder and blade. So I recommend putting a new blade in if you're doing floor graphics, because the material is that heavy, it takes a fresh blade to cut through it. So what we want to do is we want to gauge the depth from the tip of the blade holder to the tip of your blade. So if we press down hard on the material like that, you can see if you press hard, it cuts all the way through. So you want to adjust the blade out ever so slightly so that it's not cutting all the way through, but it's cutting through the material. So about there, we'll just show another little blade, a little bit of blade. So about there, that's cutting through nicely. Then all we have to worry about then is the pressure on the machine. So we have this bit set up, we can put this back into the machine and go from there. So what we want to do is we want to line up our dot on the cutting strip, but we have to make sure that the dot is inside the pinch wheel. We don't want it like that. So we have to make sure it's just inside the pinch wheel. Okay? So that's on that line, and then if we look across to the other side, the other dot is on the cutting strip on that side. Now we have our sheet set up. What we can do is I'm going to bring the material back in and set the base point out here. So that should be enough function and base point. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a force test. So if we go to function, go to cut config, go in there, we can do a test cut. Now we can see that that didn't cut through enough. So our force is at 80 grams of force, which we would have for normal vinyl. So up it to, we'd say 140, just as a start. And go back and then do another test cut. Still not enough, so we'll bring it up to 190. Test cut again. And that seems to cut perfect. So what we want to do is we want to weed out the circle, make sure that the square remains there, and then when we take off the square, we want to make sure that it's not cutting too deep into the backing paper, but it's leaving a slight indentation. So we know then that we've enough force there. So what we're going to do then is we're going to move the crop mark back onto the cutting strip and reset our base point. So that's it, function, base point, and we're good to go. Okay, so back at VersaWorks, what we do is we double click on the job and it brings us back into where we were last, so it's cutting options. So the only thing we want to do is change from print only to cut only. We have the force set on the printer, so we don't need to adjust these settings here. So we just click OK and print. So then we can weed this off, and it should be and there we have our print, laminate and cut floor graphics.